Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today I want to talk about the shelf and also the copper golem statue. These were added inside a beta yesterday, and they are currently not in Java Edition. Now I want to talk about some changes I would make to these. These changes could come because they are still technically in testing, because they are in beta preview and coming soon to Java snapshots. So first off, let's cover the shelves. I've been messing with the shelves for quite some time, and they are pretty good not only for the function they have of putting items in them, they're also good for building. You can see we have prismarine here with a trim at the bottom using the warped shelf. They are also good for an alternative to trapdoors for like an open door, as if this was a door that is open, which I think is pretty cool. And they can also be used for things like shops. So I have two right here back to back, and that is just to give it a bit more shape. And I have items within them. Now I do have these powered, but if you was within a server where everyone's trusted, you can create shops with these. Because for example, I have a diamond on me, and I want to change this diamond for the sugarcane. I just click on the sugarcane, I take the sugarcane, and the diamond is deposited within the inventory. And then obviously the shop owner can come around and collect the diamonds when they're done. And don't forget, you can put more than one item. As long as it's the same item type, you can put up to the max stack size. So for example, I can put a whole stack of sugarcane in. Now there are a lot of limitations with these, and that is what I want to talk about in today's video. So let's first off, I would really like it if there was some kind of hopper interaction with them, because currently you cannot input or take items from them. If I was to place a hopper right here, then let's place one on top of the hopper. If I was to put a grass block in there, you can see the hopper isn't taking it. If I was to power the hopper and then depower it, you can see the grass block is still there, and that is the same for every single slot. Hoppers cannot take items from these, which I think it would be really cool if they could, because then you can create a item filter that would take, for example, the diamonds out. But also, it would be cool if you could input items in. Once again, this is not currently possible. If I throw items within this, they are not going within the shelf. They don't work within the back. It also don't work when they are going within the top, or it also don't work when they are going within the sides. I think having hopper interaction with these would definitely make them 10 times better. You can create more consistent shops with them. You can also just have things replenish. So for example, let's say this one right here had all of my wooden blocks in, and let's say I only had 6 warp planks left. Well, I can have a hopper leading into the back or the side or the top, and when I fill this with warp planks, the warp planks will replenish into this. So then next time I come here to take my warp planks back, I will have a full stack again rather than just the 6 I left in there. And you can see it also doesn't work if the item is within there, because you can see warp planks are right there, and it's still not taking them. I have also just noticed the texture does update slightly when it is powered. You can see when it's not powered, each slot is individual, and when it does power, it becomes one big inventory slot. I'm guessing that's also the same with like multiple. So if I power that one, and that one, yeah, there we go. You can see all 3 of them connect together. But then powering this one will make it connect on its own, because you can only connect up to a max of 3. This is also really cool because you can use this for decoration. For example, if I was to break these blocks because we can't see them from the outside, and I was to power, let's say, this one, and this one, it creates for some different patterns rather than just a constant one like this. And once again, these only need a power source to make this happen. The power source can be redstone torches, it can be redstone dust, it can be levers. Now, I have also seen quite a lot of people complain about the textures, and honestly, I think the textures are fine. They're going to be very useful for building. They might not be the best for just like function, but the textures to me are just copying the hanging signs with obviously a little bit more detail, because if I was to quickly just place one of these down, you can see it uses the same strip texture with then obviously a little bit more pattern to them. One other thing that I think is a good thing is you can't connect multiple types together. So for example, these pale oak ones will not connect to these warped ones. As you can see, they are connecting individually, but they are not connecting together. And if I quickly just add 3 of them, you can see it is not working. Let's quickly just depower them and repower them. And you can see these 2 have connected together, and this one's connected on its own. One other thing that I do quickly just want to test, do they connect vertically? So will these 3 connect together if there's no one adjacent? I don't think this is the case. And can we do that to power them? Is that going to power them? I don't think it does. Okay, does it power them? Let's quickly just try. It doesn't. What about a lever on the back of them? Will this power them? So let's place the lever right there and then power that. That does power them. Okay, so that's just an easy way to do it. and it doesn't connect them top to bottom, which is kind of sad. It'd be so cool if they could also connect vertically, because it would create for some really cool pillars and things like that within builds, rather than always having to have them like so. Now, one other thing that I also quickly want to note, you can store bundles on them, and the bundles can have items. Oh wait, okay, that is a bug. I filled this bundle up with some random items. Let's quickly just do that again. I'm guessing this is a bug because this is just deleting items. So you can see I have this blue bundle right here with a load of items in it. If I put that on the shelf and then take it back again, it has the items. Okay, that's weird. That didn't just happen. When I took it a second ago, it deleted everything inside. But this is also really cool because you can kind of go with a shop system and set up lucky bags, where a player has to pick a random bag with a diamond, and the bag they pick is the items they get. Now, there are probably so many other uses for these, and there are probably so many more suggestions and feedback that players are going to have for them as well. Which, if you do have any really good suggestions, leave them in the comments. I am always interested to hear them. But now let's jump to some copper golem statue changes that I would like to see. These are a new block within the game from the copper golem entity. When it gets to this stage, it can randomly turn into a statue. Now, one thing you can do with these is click on them to change your pose. Currently, there is only, 5 poses? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 poses. I think there needs to be more. I think 4 poses, although it's good, it's not good enough, I don't think. I think there needs to be 1 for every redstone power within the game. So that's about 15. Now, it don't matter if there's like 14 or something like that, but I think 4 is just not enough. And the reason I say this is because you can read a comparator out of them to get a redstone signal. And currently the redstone signal goes from, I think, 1 up to 4. So if I quickly just show this, it's hard to show in Bedrock Edition because you don't have like the thing with Java where you can open F3. So if I show you this, you can see the redstone does slowly change. It goes from 1 to 3, and then finally 4, and it resets back to 1 for the normal pose. So it'd be cool if this could go up to 15 or at least like 10. Now, one other thing that I think would be cool is interactions with redstone. Now, although they can have a output coming out of them, I think they should also have an input with redstone. So for example, when you power them, kind of like how armor stands work. Yes, here we go. If you power them or have redstone on the block they are on, they change poses. So if I was to quickly just set this back to default, you can see it will change to that pose. I think that should also be the same for the copper golems. Depending on the signal going into them, I think that should also depend on the pose it sets them as, because then you can kind of create animations using them. For example, I can set the copper golem ticking from this pose to this pose to make it look like it's running. So for example, let's quickly just detect this again. This is levels 4, I think. Yes, this is level 3. So if we was to put a redstone signal of 3 into this one, it will then always set the pose to this. If we was to put a redstone signal of 1, then it would always set the pose to this one. Now, one other thing that I think they should be able to do is I think they should have a pose for holding items, because currently, if we was to quickly just grab a copper golem, I'm going to summon it from the waxed version. So we now have a copper golem, and it instantly turned into a statue. Okay, I didn't want it to turn that instantly. I want it to open this chest and get an item. Yes, there we go. I think it's going to do it. There we go. It now has a diamond. So if this copper golem was to turn into a statue, let's quickly just wait for it to do so. There we go. You can see it turns into a block, and the item just gets thrown on the ground, which in my opinion is a little bit weird. Especially early game, it means that you are going to need a lot of honeycomb to make sure you don't lose your items, because once they turn into this stage, if they are holding items, they just get thrown on the ground, and if you are AFK or something, these are going to despawn. So I think that if they was to have an item in their hand when they turn into a statue, they should turn into a pose like this, but standing up. So it would be a mixture of this one, but it would have the arms out like this. And then they would just have the item within their hand. And then you can take the item by clicking on them, or you can have them hold the item forever to kind of create what the tough golem was meant to be. There are a few other things I quickly just want to test, and that is, do they have interactions with pistons? This might change when they come to Java Edition. Pistons can push a lot more on Bedrock than they can on Java. They can. Okay, that's kind of weird. It glitches out its pose when you push them with pistons. You can see it goes from standing still to running for a split second. I definitely think the shelves and the copper golems have so much potential within the game, but honestly, I think this update is turning out to be one of the best in quite some time. Copper golems being used for item sorters, statues for your Minecraft worlds, as well as instant inventory swappers, as well as a lot of decoration. This is definitely one of the best drops. But anyway, I think that's where I'm going to end this video. If you guys have any ideas on how these can be improved, definitely do let me know in the comments, as it's interesting to hear what you guys think. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one.